Alright, so here's how to turn a GIF in Capcut PC into an MP4 without using the export function. So what you're going to do is, as you can see, I have my GIF here. All you do is right click on the GIF and then go to create compound clip. And what you'll notice, once you create a compound clip, then the GIF that you just had will now have the ability to have its speed changed. You could change it to whatever you want. I'll just do it 2x speed, and I'll just play this very quickly. And it's just much faster. It's a very short clip, so you're not going to see much, but obviously much faster than its original, which is like this long. It's a little bit choppy because of the recording thing I have going on. But either way, if all you wanted was the answer to the question in the title, that's all you needed. However, I'm going to go through a little bit of the differences between what GIFs can do and what MP4s can do. But if all you wanted was the beginning bit, then that's all you need. You're done. Don't worry about it. But if you want a little bit extra information on what's the difference between them, well, let me very quickly go back and turn this back into a normal GIF. So there are a few differences between GIFs and MP4s. One of them being that GIFs have the ability to be stretched indefinitely. Normally, GIFs are loopable clips, so all Capcut does is essentially just take the clip from the beginning again, and then it'll constantly repeat itself. I'll just play this again. So then, as you can see, it's just looping itself, which that's what GIFs are for, so that's why GIFs have the ability to do that. MP4s, on the other hand, this is the exact same clip, and I will put it on top of it. You'll notice that I cannot take this any further than it already is. It's around a couple of seconds, like 55 seconds long, and it will not let me take it any further. As you can see, my mouse is much farther away, and it will not let me pull it. Whereas with the GIF, this is also 55 seconds, but as you saw, it goes as long as you want. And you can stretch it for how long as you want, it doesn't matter. But what GIFs lose in this is the ability to have its speed changed. Like how I showed you before, when I made it a compound clip, it gained this speed tab, which is something that you don't have when it's just a GIF. I have no idea why GIFs don't have this. They would benefit from it, but I guess they just didn't want to give it that feature. It doesn't matter. Unlike a thing like audio, which obviously GIFs do not have audio, so there's no reason to have an audio tab, which makes perfect sense. Even when you create a compound clip and you turn it into one, it still only gains the speed, it does not gain audio. It makes perfect sense. But another thing that is different between an MP4 and a GIF is the way that they are cut. So let me change the view to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. So this is a little bit harder to explain, so I did want to show this visually. As you can see, these are the exact same clip. They are a little bit off. I don't know exactly why, but they look slightly different. But as you can see, they are the exact same clip for the most part all the way through. There's a little bit of speed difference here and there. But if you've ever cut clips before, you'll notice that for an MP4, what it normally does, and I'll just show it very quickly, when you cut an MP4, it will continue as it normally had. It will just keep on going through. It's just that you've just created a second clip that can be moved around, but it is essentially the second half of the clip that had already just played. As you can see, I play it through. They're essentially the same thing, the same as they were before. However, when you cut a GIF, what it does is this second clip starts from the beginning all over again. So a second ago, you saw that they were basically the same, and then you'll notice a pretty significant difference where the GIF jumped back to the beginning. I don't know why, but GIFs just have that feature where when you cut them, they will always play from the beginning of the GIF. So in a GIF like this, where there are two distinct parts, there's one where you're looking at the girl, you can see her in the eyes, and then there's the second half of the clip where you're looking from the back of her head and seeing an explosion. There are two separate parts of it. Let's say you only want the second part. If you're working with a GIF, it's a little bit hard to get that second part, because when you cut it, regardless of where you cut it, it will always start from the beginning. So even if I cut it here, where I can obviously see her back, when I cut it, then it switches back to the beginning of the clip. So the way to fix all of this is, again, what we were talking about before. Just right click, turn it into a compound clip, and when it is a compound clip, then it will be treated like an MP4. So then you'll notice when I cut it here again, it will just play normally through like how the MP4 did, because now Capcut PC is treating it like an MP4. And one more thing about turning GIFs into compound clips, do be aware that when you do this, your GIF will no longer have the ability to be stretched indefinitely like a GIF normally would. So if I just go ahead and undo compound clip, as you can see, it's a GIF again, so it can be stretched as far as I want it to. But as soon as I go ahead, let's say I do it from here and I create a compound clip, it will no longer stretch any further. It will be treated like an MP4, where MP4s obviously cannot be dragged any further than their maximum length. This will also be treated the same way and will no longer be able to be stretched. Now, as you saw, all you have to do to work around this problem is just stretch it to the length that you want first. As long as you want, let's say it's all the way up here, and then I create compound clip after that, it will stay this length. So then from here, sure, it won't go any further, but as you can see, it's much longer than it originally was. Anyway, that's all from me. I was trying to find advice on this back when I was first using Capcut, and I couldn't find any real advice other than just export the GIF and turn it into an MP4, which I personally think is a little bit tedious when all I want to do is make a GIF a little bit faster, or just be able to cut it like how I would normally cut an MP4. So once I found out how to do it myself, I decided that I wanted to make a video on it because I know I would have liked to have found the help when I was first looking for it, and hopefully somebody gets some use out of this the same way I would have gotten use out of it. Either way, that's all from me. I have one other video on this channel which I did use Capcut PC to edit all of it. If you see anything in that video that you want me to teach or show you how to do, I personally don't do too many tutorials, but if somebody wants some help and I'm able to provide that help, I'm always happy to do so. Either way, that's all from me. Hope you all have a good day.